Park Do-yeon lived alone in the mountains of South Korea. He was 32 years old. He worked as a wildlife researcher. His job was to watch animals and write reports about them. He lived in a small wooden cabin far away from the city. He liked the quiet life. He liked the trees and the birds and the clean air. He did not like people very much. People were complicated. The forest was simple. Every day Do-yeon woke up early. He made coffee. He checked his cameras in the forest. He wrote notes about the animals he saw. Then he ate dinner alone and read books until he fell asleep. This was his life. It was peaceful. It was boring. But Do-yeon was okay with boring. One night, everything changed. It was a stormy night in October. The wind was strong. The rain was heavy. Thunder shook the cabin walls. Do-yeon sat near the fire and listened to the storm. He was reading a book about birds when he saw something strange through the window. A bright light cut across the sky. It was not lightning. It was too slow. Too bright. Too orange. It moved like a falling star, but it was bigger than any star Do-yeon had ever seen. The light went down behind the mountains. Then there was a loud boom. The ground shook. The fire flickered. Do-yeon dropped his book. He stood up and looked out the window. The sky was dark again, but somewhere in the forest something was glowing. Do-yeon told himself to stay inside. It was probably nothing. Maybe a plane crashed. Maybe a satellite fell. It was not his problem. He should call someone. He should let the authorities handle it. But then he thought about the animals. If something crashed in the forest, it could start a fire. It could hurt the wildlife. He had to check. He put on his rain jacket. He grabbed his flashlight. He stepped out into the storm. The walk was difficult. The rain made the ground slippery. The wind pushed against him. But Do-yeon kept walking. He followed the glow through the trees. It took him almost an hour to find the crash site. What he saw made him stop breathing. It was not a plane. It was not a satellite. It was something else. Something impossible. A strange metal object sat in the middle of a burned clearing. It was the size of a small car, but it was shaped like an egg. The metal was silver and smooth. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. Smoke rose from cracks in the shell. The trees around it were broken and burned. Do-yeon did not move. His heart was beating fast. His mind was trying to understand what he was seeing. This was not from Earth. This was not made by humans. This was something from space. He should run. He should go home. He should call the government. But then he heard a sound. A small sound. A cry came from inside the metal egg. Do-yeon moved closer. The heat from the crash warmed his face. He could see a crack in the side of the object. Through the crack, he saw movement. Something was trapped inside. He grabbed a thick branch from the ground. He pushed it into the crack. He pulled hard. The metal groaned. The crack grew wider. Do-yeon pulled again and again. Finally, the opening was big enough for him to look inside. What he saw changed his life forever. Inside the crashed object was a child. But this was not a human child. The child had pale violet skin. Delicate silver lines ran across her temples like veins of light. Her hair was white like snow. Her eyes were closed, but Do-yeon could see a faint golden glow beneath her eyelids. She was wearing strange clothes made of a shiny material, and she was trapped. A piece of metal had fallen on her legs. The child opened her eyes. They glowed gold in the darkness. She looked at Do-yeon. She was terrified. She opened her mouth and made sounds that Do-yeon could not understand. It was a language he had never heard before. "It is okay," Do-yeon said softly. He did not know if she could understand him, but he wanted her to know he was not going to hurt her. "I will help you. Do not be scared." The child kept crying. She tried to move, but she could not. The metal was too heavy. Do-yeon climbed into the crashed object. The inside was hot. The air smelled like burning metal. He grabbed the piece of metal that trapped the child. It was heavy, but Do-yeon was strong from years of living in the mountains. He lifted it. He pushed it aside. The child was free. She tried to stand, but she fell. Her leg was injured. Purple blood came from a cut on her knee. Doyan did not think about the strange color of her blood. He did not think about the fact that she was not human. He only thought about one thing. She was a child, and she needed help. He picked her up carefully. She was lighter than he expected. She wrapped her small arms around his neck. She was shaking from fear and cold. "I got you," Doyan said. "You are safe now." The rain was still falling. The storm was still raging. But Doyan walked back to his cabin with the alien child in his arms. He did not know what she was. He did not know where she came from. He did not know what would happen next, but he knew one thing. He was not going to leave a scared child alone in the forest. Not tonight. Not ever. When they reached the cabin, Doyan laid the child on his bed. He started a fire to warm her. He cleaned her wound with water and wrapped it with a clean cloth. The child watched him with her golden eyes. She did not speak. She did not move. But slowly, her shaking stopped. Doyan sat in a chair near the bed. He was tired and wet and confused. He had 1,000 questions, but the child was exhausted. She needed to rest. "Sleep," he said, pointing to the pillow. "You are safe here." The child did not understand his words, but she understood his voice. It was kind. It was gentle. She had never heard a voice like that from a stranger before. She closed her golden eyes, and for the first time since the attack on her ship, she felt something she had not felt in days. She felt safe. Doyan watched her sleep. Outside, the storm continued. Somewhere far above the clouds, among the stars, people were searching for this child. Doyan did not know this yet. He did not know that this small creature was a princess. He did not know that her mother was the most powerful being in the galaxy. He did not know that his simple act of kindness would change the fate of 2 worlds. All he knew was that he had done the right thing. And for now, that was enough. Part 2. The bond the first morning was strange for both of them. Doyan woke up early, as he always did. For a moment, he forgot about the night before. Then he looked at his bed and saw the alien child still sleeping there. Her violet skin glowed softly in the morning light. Her white hair spread across the pillow like silk. She was real. It was not a dream. He made breakfast quietly. He cooked rice and eggs. He did not know what aliens ate. He hoped she could eat human food. He hoped it would not make her sick. The child woke up when she smelled the food. She sat up quickly. Her golden eyes looked around the cabin with fear. She did not know where she was. She did not remember falling asleep. Then she saw Doyan standing near the stove. She remembered. The crash. The rain. The kind man who saved her. Doyan smiled at her. He pointed at the food. "Are you hungry?" The child did not understand his words, but she understood food. She was very hungry. She had not eaten in 2 days. Doyan brought her a bowl of rice and eggs. He sat on a chair near the bed. He watched her eat. She was careful at first. She smelled the food. She took a small bite. Then her eyes went wide. The food was good. She ate faster. Doyan laughed softly. "Slow down. There is more." After breakfast, Doyan checked her leg. The wound was healing fast, much faster than a human wound would heal. The purple blood was already dry. The cut was almost closed. He wrapped it with a fresh cloth anyway. The child watched him work. She was thinking, this human was strange. He did not ask questions. He did not look at her with fear or disgust. He just helped her. Among her own people, strangers did not act this way. Everyone wanted something. Everyone had a reason, but this man seemed to want nothing. He just wanted to help. She pointed at herself. "Nara," she said. It was her name. Doyan understood. He pointed at himself. "Doyen. Du Hyen," she repeated slowly. Then she smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. The first week was difficult. They could not talk to each other. Nara spoke the language of her people. Doyan spoke Korean. They used hands and faces to communicate. They pointed at things. They drew pictures in the dirt. Slowly, They began to understand each other. Nara was curious about everything. She had never seen a forest like this before. She had never seen trees that were green instead of silver. She had never seen animals that walked on 4 legs instead of 6. Every day, she asked Do-yeon questions with her hands and eyes. What is that? Why does it move? Can I touch it? Do-yeon showed her everything. He took her into the forest when her leg was better. He showed her deer and rabbits and birds. He showed her the river where fish swam. He showed her the mountain where the sun set every evening. Nara loved it all. But most of all, she loved spending time with Do-yeon. One day she found something in the wreckage of her escape pod. It was a small metal box. When she pressed a button, the box made sounds. Do-yeon watched with wide eyes. The box was a translator. After a few hours of listening to them talk, it learned both languages. Now they could finally speak to each other. This is a translator, Nara said. Her voice came through the box in Korean. Now you can understand me. Do-yeon laughed. That would have been helpful a week ago. Nara laughed too. I forgot I had it. I was scared. I did not think clearly. That night, they sat by the fire and talked for hours. Nara told Do-yeon about her home. She was from a place called the Valorian Empire. It was very far away, beyond the stars that Do-yeon could see in the sky. Her people were old and powerful. They ruled over 100 star systems. They had ships that could cross the galaxy in days. And you are a princess? Do-yeon asked. Nara nodded. My mother is the Empress. She rules the entire empire. She is very strong. Very important. Nara looked down at her hands. She is also very busy. She does not have much time for me. Do-yeon was quiet for a moment. He understood that feeling. His own parents had been busy too. They worked all the time. They never had time for him. That was why he moved to the mountains. He wanted to be somewhere quiet, somewhere peaceful, somewhere he did not feel lonely. I am sure she loves you, Do-yeon said softly. I know she does, Nara said. She just has trouble showing it. She has many responsibilities, many enemies, many problems. I am just one small thing in her big life. Do-yeon shook his head. You are not a small thing. You are her daughter. That is the biggest thing in the world. Nara looked at him. No one had ever said something like that to her before. In the palace, everyone treated her like a symbol, a title, the princess of the empire. But Do-yeon treated her like a person, like a child, like someone who mattered. She felt tears in her eyes. She tried to hide them, but Do-yeon saw. It is okay to cry, he said. I will not tell anyone. Nara laughed through her tears. She wiped her face with her sleeve. You are strange, Do-yeon. You are not like anyone I have ever met. Is that a good thing? Yes, it is a very good thing. The days turned into weeks. Do-yeon taught Nara many things. He taught her how to fish in the river. He taught her how to cook rice. He taught her the names of birds and flowers. He taught her how to read the weather by looking at the clouds. Nara taught him things too. She told him about the stars. She told him about planets with 3 suns. She told him about creatures that lived in clouds of gas. She told him about her favorite foods and games and songs. She even sang for him once. Her voice was beautiful, like wind through silver bells. They became like a family, not by blood, but by choice. Nara started calling Do-yeon Appa, which meant older brother in Korean. At first, Do-yeon felt strange about it, but after a while, he smiled every time she said it. Do-yeon Appa, look at this bug. Do-yeon Appa, the fish are jumping. Do-yeon Appa, can we have more rice? He was not alone anymore, and neither was she. But Nara's translator had a secret. It was not just a translator. It was also a distress beacon. Since the moment she turned it on, it had been sending a signal into space. A signal that said, I am here. I am alive. Come find me. And far across the galaxy, someone received that signal. Empress Yuna sat on her throne. Her face was cold. Her heart was broken. For weeks she had searched for her daughter. For weeks she had found nothing. She had feared the worst. She had prepared herself for grief. Then the signal came. Her daughter was alive. Her daughter was on a small planet called Earth. Her daughter was waiting for her. The Empress stood up. Her eyes burned with determination. "Prepare the fleet," she commanded. "We are going to Earth." Far away on that small planet, Doyon and Nara knew nothing of what was coming. They sat by the river and watched the sunset. The sky was orange and pink and gold. Birds sang in the trees. The water sparkled like diamonds. "I like it here," Nara said softly. "I wish I could stay forever." Doyon looked at her. He wished the same thing, but he knew that was not possible. Somewhere out there, her family was looking for her. Someday, they would find her. Someday, she would go home. But for now, they had this moment. This sunset, this peace, and that was enough. Part 3. The Arrival. Sky changed on a Tuesday morning. Doyon was making breakfast when Nara ran into the cabin. Her face was pale. Her golden eyes were wide with fear. She grabbed his arm and pulled him outside. "Look," she said, pointing at the sky. Doyon looked up. His heart stopped. Massive shapes were coming through the clouds. They were bigger than buildings, bigger than mountains. They were dark and silver and covered with lights. They moved slowly like whales swimming through water. But these were not whales. These were ships, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. They blocked the sun. Shadows fell over the land. Birds flew away in panic. Animals ran into the forest. Doyon could not move. He could not speak. He had never seen anything like this. No human had ever seen anything like this. Nara's hand was shaking in his. "They found me," she whispered. "My people found me." Doyon looked at her. "Is that good or bad?" Nara did not answer. She did not know. Far away in the cities, people were screaming. Governments were in chaos. Military forces tried to respond, but their weapons were useless. Their jets could not even get close to the alien ships. Their missiles did nothing. The aliens were too powerful. Too advanced news spread around the world. Aliens are here. Aliens have come to Earth. We are not alone. Some people were excited. Some people were terrified. Some people prayed. Some people ran. But everyone watched the sky. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. In the mountains, Doyon and Nara also waited. They watched the ships hang in the sky like dark clouds. For hours, nothing happened. The ships just floated there, silent and still. Then, in the afternoon, one ship moved. A smaller vessel detached from the largest ship. It was still bigger than Doyon's cabin, but it was much smaller than the others. It flew down through the clouds. It came closer and closer. It was heading toward the mountains. It was heading toward them. Nara stood up. Her face was pale. "They are coming for me." Doyon stood beside her. "What do we do?" "I do not know." Nara's voice was small. "I have not seen my mother in a long time. She must be very angry. Or very sad. Maybe both." The small ship landed in the clearing near the cabin. It crushed trees and pushed away rocks. Steam rose from its surface. Strange symbols glowed on its metal skin. Doyon went inside the cabin. He came back with his hunting rifle. It was an old gun. It could kill a deer. It could not do anything against alien technology. But he held it anyway. He was not going to let anyone hurt Nara, not without a fight. Nara looked at the gun. "Upa, that will not help." "I know," Doyon said, "but it makes me feel better." The doors of the ship opened. Light poured out. Doyon raised his hand to cover his eyes. Soldiers marched down from the ship. They were tall and strong. Their armor was silver and purple. Their helmets covered their faces. They carried weapons that Doyon could not understand. They formed two lines, like guards waiting for someone important. Then she appeared. Empress Yuna walked down from the ship. She was the most beautiful and terrifying person Doyon had ever seen. She was tall and elegant. Her skin was the same violet color as Nara's, but darker, deeper. Silver markings covered her arms and face like royal tattoos. Her white hair was long and flowing. Her clothes were made of fabric that shimmered like starlight. And her eyes were gold, like Nara's, but colder. Much colder. She looked like a goddess of war. She looked like someone who had never lost a battle. She looked like someone who could destroy worlds with a wave of her hand. And she was looking at Doyen. He did not move. He did not breathe. He just stood there with his useless gun. Standing between this ancient empress and her daughter, the empress stopped walking. Her soldiers aimed their weapons at Doyen. One word from her, and he would be dust. "Step away from the princess human," the empress said. Her voice was cold and powerful. The translator on Nara's belt repeated her words in Korean. Doyen's legs were shaking. His hands were sweating. But he did not move. "She is safe," he said. His voice was weak, but he tried to make it strong. "I am not going to hurt her. I never hurt her. I saved her." The empress tilted her head. She looked at him with curiosity and disgust. You saved her? A primitive creature like you?" "Yes. Why should I believe you?" "Humans are liars. Humans are weak. Humans are nothing." Doyen's fear turned into something else. Anger. He was tired of being scared. He was tired of being looked down on. He had spent weeks caring for this child. He had fed her. He had healed her. He had kept her safe. And now, this woman was calling him nothing? "I found your daughter in a crashed ship," Doyen said. His voice was stronger now. She was hurt. She was scared. She was alone. I did not know what she was. I did not care. I only knew she was a child who needed help. So I helped her. That is all I did. That is all I wanted to do. The empress stared at him. Her expression did not change. But something flickered in her golden eyes. Something Doyen could not understand. "And what do you want now?" she asked. "Money? Technology? Power? Everyone wants something." Doyen shook his head. "I do not want anything. I just want Nara to be happy." The empress's eyes widened slightly. No one had ever called her daughter by that name so casually. No one except family. Before she could respond, Nara broke free from behind Doyen. She ran forward, but she did not run to her mother. She ran to stand beside Doyen. She grabbed his hand. "Stop," she cried. "He saved me. He saved me, Mom." The empress froze. Her soldiers looked confused. No one in the galaxy spoke to the empress like this. No one stopped her. No one argued with her. But here was her own daughter, standing beside a human, defending him. "Nara," the empress said slowly, "come to me." "Not until you put down your weapons," Nara said. Her voice was shaking, but she did not move. "Doyen Appa is not a threat. He is my friend. He took care of me when no one else could. He was kind to me when I was scared and alone. He is a good person, Mom. The best person I have ever met." The empress looked at her daughter. She saw something different in Nara's eyes. Something new. Strength. Courage. Love. For weeks, she had imagined finding her daughter's body. She had imagined the worst. She had prepared herself for grief that would last 1,000 years. And now here was Nara, alive and healthy and strong, standing beside a human, defending him with all her heart. The empress did not understand, but she wanted to. She raised her hand. Her soldiers lowered their weapons. "Tell me everything," she said to Nara, "from the beginning." Part 4. The Judgment. Nara told her mother everything. She spoke about the attack on her ship. She spoke about the guards who died to save her. She spoke about the escape pod and the crash. She spoke about being trapped and injured and terrified. Then she spoke about Doyen. She described how he pulled her from the wreckage in the middle of a storm. She described how he carried her through the rain to his cabin. She described how he cleaned her wounds and fed her and kept her warm. She described the weeks they spent together. The fishing. The cooking. The sunsets by the river. The stories. The laughter. "Did not know who I was," Nara said. Her eyes were filled with tears. "He did not know I was a princess. He did not want anything from me. He just saw a scared child and he helped. That is the kind of person he is, Mom. That is the kind of person humans can be." The Empress listened in silence. Her face showed no emotion. But inside, her heart was breaking and healing at the same time. For 200 years, she had ruled the Valorian Empire. She had seen many species. She had visited many worlds. She had met millions of beings who claimed to be noble, kind, and good. But most of them were liars. Most of them wanted power, or money, or favor. Most of them would never help a stranger without expecting something in return. And now, on this small, primitive planet, a simple human had saved her daughter. Not for reward. Not for fame. Not for anything. Just because it was the right thing to do. The Empress looked at Doyen. He was still standing there with his useless gun. He was clearly terrified. His legs were shaking. His face was pale, but he had not run away. He had not begged for mercy. He had stood his ground, ready to protect Nara even against impossible odds. This was not the behavior of a primitive creature. This was the behavior of someone with honor, someone with courage, someone with a heart bigger than their fear. "Why?" the Empress asked him. Her voice was softer now. "Why did you risk your life for a stranger? You did not know what she was. You did not know if her people would come. You did not know if we would reward you or kill you. Why did you help her?" Dajin lowered his gun. He thought about the question for a long moment. Then he answered simply, "Because she was a scared kid. That is all that mattered." The Empress was silent. Around her, her soldiers watched with confusion. They had never seen their Empress hesitate before. They had never seen her question herself. Nara stepped forward. She took her mother's hand. "Mom, I know you are angry. I know you were scared. But please do not hurt him. Do not hurt his people. They are not our enemies. They are just living their lives like anyone else." The Empress looked at her daughter's hand. It was so small, so fragile, and yet it held so much power. With one touch, Nara had reminded her of something she had forgotten long ago. She was not just an Empress. She was a mother. "I was never going to hurt him," the Empress said quietly. "I was. Testing him. I needed to see what kind of person he was." "And what do you see?" Nara asked. The Empress looked at Doyan again. She studied his face, his eyes, his posture. She had judged countless beings throughout her long life. She had seen the best and worst of the galaxy. And in this human, she saw something rare, something precious. She saw genuine kindness. The Empress did something that shocked everyone watching. She bowed her head. It was a small bow, barely a tilt. But for the ruler of 100 star systems, it was enormous. It was a sign of respect, a sign of gratitude, a sign of humility. "You saved my daughter," she said to Doyan. "You kept her safe when I could not. You showed her kindness when she was alone and afraid. The Valorian Empire does not forget such things. From this day forward, you are under my protection. No one in the galaxy will harm you. You have my word." Doyon did not know what to say. He had expected anger. He had expected threats. He had expected to die. He had not expected this. "Thank you," he managed to say. The Empress almost smiled. Almost. "You are a strange creature, Park Doyen. You had the chance to demand rewards. You had the chance to ask for power or wealth, but you asked for nothing. You wanted nothing. Do you truly have no desires?" Doyen thought for a moment. Then he shook his head. "I just want to keep living my life," he said. Maybe visit Nara sometimes. If that is allowed." The Empress did smile. It was small and brief, like a flash of sunlight through clouds. But it was real. "It is allowed," she said. Nara's face lit up with joy. She ran to Doyun and hugged him tightly. He hugged her back, careful and gentle. "Thank you, Mom," Nara whispered. The Empress watched them. For the first time in many years, she felt something warm in her chest. It was hope. Hope that the universe was not as dark as she had believed. Hope that kindness could still exist, even in the strangest places. She turned to her soldiers. "Stand down." This human is a friend of the Empire. Soldiers looked at each other with surprise, but they obeyed. They always obeyed. The Empress walked toward Doyan. She was tall, much taller than him. She looked down at him with her ancient golden eyes. "You taught my daughter something valuable," she said. "You taught her that strangers can be kind. That help can come from unexpected places. That good people exist, even in the darkest times. For that, I am grateful." She paused. Then she added, "You also taught me something." "What?" Doyan asked. "That I should spend more time with my daughter. That power and responsibility are not excuses for distance. That being an empress does not mean I cannot also be a mother." Doyan nodded slowly. "She loves you very much, Your Majesty. She told me about you every day. She missed you." The Empress looked at Nara. Her daughter was watching her with hope and love. How long had it been since the Empress had really looked at her? How long had it been since they had simply talked? Not about politics or duty, but about life. Too long. Far too long. Then perhaps the Empress said softly, "It is time for things to change." Part 5. The promise the world was watching. Every screen on Earth showed the same images. Alien ships in the sky. Strange beings in silver armor. An empress from the stars. People everywhere held their breath and waited. They did not know what would happen next. They only knew that everything had changed. Empress Yuna understood the fear. She had seen it before on other worlds. Whenever her fleet appeared, people expected destruction. They expected conquest. They expected death, but not this time. The Empress ordered her flagship to broadcast a message to the entire planet. Her face appeared on every television, every phone, every computer screen. She spoke, and the translators made sure everyone could understand. "People of Earth," she said, "I am Empress Yuna of the Valorian Empire. I came to this world to find my daughter. She was lost. She was alone. And one of your people saved her." She paused. The world was silent. "I have ruled for 200 years. I have seen the best and worst of many species. I have learned that power means nothing without honor. Strength means nothing without kindness. And the measure of a civilization is not its technology, but its heart." She looked directly into the camera. Her golden eyes were serious but warm. "One human showed my daughter kindness when she needed it most. He asked for nothing in return. He simply helped. Because of him, my daughter is alive. Because of him, my faith in the universe is restored." She bowed her head slightly. "The Valorian Empire does not come as conquerors. We come as friends. We offer our hand in peace. We hope you will take it." Around the world, people watched in shock. They had expected war. They had expected death. They had not expected this. An alien empress, bowing her head and asking for friendship. It seemed impossible. It seemed like a dream, but it was real. In the days that followed, everything changed. Empress Yuna met with the leaders of Earth's nations. She spoke with presidents and prime ministers, kings and diplomats. She offered technology and knowledge. She offered trade and protection. She offered a place in the galactic community. Some people were suspicious. They thought it was a trick. They thought the aliens would betray them later. But the Empress was patient. She understood fear. She understood trust took time. She stayed on Earth for 1 week. During that time, she also stayed near Doyon's cabin in the mountains. She wanted to see the place where her daughter had been saved. She wanted to understand why Nara loved it so much. She walked through the forest with Nara. She saw the river where they had fished. She saw the mountain where they had watched sunsets. She saw the simple cabin where a simple man had saved her daughter's life. "I understand now," she said softly. "It is peaceful here, quiet, beautiful." Nara smiled. "That is what I kept telling you, Mom." The Empress looked at her daughter. For the first time in many years, she reached out and held Nara's hand. Nara looked up with surprise, then happiness. "I am sorry," the Empress said. "I have been a distant mother. I have put duty before family. I have been wrong." "It was okay, Mom," Nara said. "You are here now. That is what matters." On the last day before the fleet departed, Empress Yuna visited Dojin one final time. She found him by the river, fishing alone. He looked up when she approached, but he did not stand. He just kept fishing. "You are not afraid of me anymore," she observed. "I was never afraid of you," Do-Yan said. Then he smiled slightly. "Maybe a little." The Empress laughed. It was a surprising sound, like bells ringing in the wind. She sat down on a rock near the river. Her beautiful royal clothes touched the dirt, but she did not seem to care. "I want to offer you something," she said. "Anything you desire? Wealth, technology, a ship to travel the stars, a palace on any world you choose. Name it, and it is yours." Do-Yan was quiet for a moment. He watched his fishing line float on the water. "I told you before," he said. "I do not want anything. I like my life here. It is simple. It is quiet. It is mine." The Empress nodded slowly. She had expected this answer, but she still had to ask. "Then let me give you something small," she said. She held out her hand. In it was a small crystal pendant. It glowed with soft blue light. "This is a symbol of the royal family. Anyone who sees it will know you are under the protection of the Empire. No one will ever harm you." Do-Yan took the pendant. It was light and warm in his hand. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you," the Empress replied. "For saving my daughter, for reminding me what matters most, for being exactly who you are." She stood up and looked at the river one last time. "Nara asked me a question yesterday," she said. "She asked if she could visit you again. I told her yes. I hope that is acceptable." Do-Yan smiled. "She is always welcome here." "Good," the Empress paused. Then she added, "Perhaps I will come too. Nara says you are an excellent teacher. She wants me to learn how to fish." Do-Yan laughed. "I would be honored to teach an Empress." "Then it is decided." The Empress bowed her head one final time. "Until we meet again, Park Do-Yan. May your life be long and your heart remain kind." She walked away through the forest, her robes flowing behind her like water. That evening, Nara came to say goodbye. She was crying, but she was also smiling. Do-Yan knelt down, so their eyes were level. "Hey," he said softly. "No tears. This is not goodbye. You said you would come back, right?" Nara nodded. "I will. I promise. I will bring Mom too. She needs to learn how to relax." Do-Yan laughed. "I believe you." Nara threw her arms around him and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Do-Yan Appa. Thank you for everything." "Thank you, Nara. You made my quiet life much more interesting." She pulled back and wiped her eyes. Then she pressed the translator into his hands. "Keep this," she said, "so we can talk when I am far away. I will call you. Every week, I promise." Do-Yan held the device carefully. "I will be waiting." The shuttle took Nara back to the flagship. The great ships rose into the sky one by one. They climbed through the clouds and disappeared among the stars. The world watched them go with wonder and hope. Do-Hyeon stood in front of his cabin, watching the sky until the last ship was gone. The forest was quiet again. The birds were singing. The river was flowing. Everything looked the same as before, but everything was different. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They had allies among the stars. They had a future beyond their small world. And it all started because one man chose kindness over fear. Do-Yan went back inside his cabin. He made dinner. He read a book. He looked at the crystal pendant glowing softly on his table. Somewhere far away, across the endless ocean of stars, a princess was thinking of him. An empress was remembering him. A whole empire knew his name, but Do-Yan was just happy to be home. He closed his eyes and smiled, and for the first time in a long time, he did not feel alone.